Hey, it's James, Father's Rights and Resources, how I got custody. I want to talk about what about separated children in this country. There's a big stink being raised, as many of you know, about children being separated at the border. Okay? Those are illegal aliens trying to get in. A lot of those parents are crazy child abusers who sent their kids with coyotes or child traffickers alone, which I could never even fathom sending. I was scared to keep my daughter until she's 18 to be out of my sight for a minute. These people send their kids voluntarily, hoping they'll get in America. And we know, going back to Obama, he warned South Americans, don't bring your kids to the border because bad stuff will happen. And they voluntarily do it. Well, in America, the court system, CPS, family court, the police, the prison industrial complex, they all separate children from parents, legal citizens, without due process, all the time. And no one's talking about it, which tells me these politicians are full of crap, which 99% of them are. They're full of it. Where's the stink being raised about children in this country? I'm a single custodial parent. We have too many single parent homes in this country. My family is broken and dysfunctional. It would be better if I had a child within marriage, the mother and father both there. I admit that. We have countless single parent homes, and most of them, there's 2 million single custodial fathers, 20 million single custodial mothers. We know statistically, automatically, when children don't have a father involved, mothers are nurturers, fathers are the protectors. We have different roles, they're equal, but they're different, and they bring a balance in a kid's life. When a father's not there, there's all kinds of studies coming out against this bullcrap that kids need mothers more when they're babies. They need both parents, period. And I'm a single custodial father, and I never was mom. I can't replace mom, but my daughter's biracial. I had as many women in her life as possible. I had as many women of color and people of color in her life. I taught her more about her culture, background, history, and ethnicity than her mom ever even tried to, but I still cannot replace her mom. I can admit that. So a lot of people think I'm a big single mom or mom bashers and stuff. No, I'm a broken family basher. I want what's best for kids. But that said, every statistic out there says that if a child doesn't have an involved father, they exponentially become at risk for jail, high school dropout, teenage pregnancy, drugs, depression, suicide, all that stuff exponentially goes up. Why are we not outraged about parents being separated from their kids or single parent homes, or encouraging people to specifically push out fathers because there's so many services for women in particular? I just saw a story of a dad committing suicide because he was broke. Now, he's still a coward to a point. And I've had some clients who committed suicide because they're getting financially and psychologically abused by the court system, financially raped. But a father had a few bucks. He was waiting on public assistance and he couldn't get it. I know it happens to mothers too, but it's 100 times harder for dads to get any help, services, advocacy, daycare, help getting going back to school and all their stuff. There's a million programs out there for mothers that aren't there for fathers. Period. End of story. It's just a fact. There's a disproportionate amount of people of color and poor people in prison. Period. It's a fact. So the prison industrial complex is designed to only put people of color, or mostly put people of color and poor people in jail or prison. It's set up that way. So that's a fact. Whether you like it or not, it's a fact. So I talk about the whole balance of everything. I'm not just talking one gender. I'm not just talking women hating. I'm not just talking pro-father or whatever. I'm talking pro-children and the best interests of children. Period. End of story. So all that being said, Last time I checked, which was over a decade ago, there are 3,000 kids, because I saw one person say the World Trade Center on 9/11, well, family courts take more kids away from fathers than the World Trade Center attack in 9/11 did. So we're talking thousands of kids every day being pulled from their fathers mostly, sometimes mothers. Mothers get screwed in family court. The ratio is like 95 to 5% in contested cases. But you also have CPS. CPS is coming in and taking kids. I'll take them at school. There's a story where they took kids from school because a kid said, oh, my parents take me to church too much. And that was just a kid just being rebellious. CPS got involved. They eventually got their kids back. But CPS took the kids away from both parents. CPS does it to both parents a lot. Without due process, the entire CPS system is unconstitutional. There's no full due process. You have a constitutional right to your kids. CPS comes in and gets an emergency order, can take your kids for 72 days, can drop kick them in a total stranger's home in foster care. And then we have issues like when a dad hadn't seen their kids in a few months, like, oh, they don't know you, they need reunification. Well, you drop kick kids into foster care, and some of them are a bunch of crackheads or child traffickers or child molesters themselves or drug addicts. So that being said, CPS will take your kids. There's no due process. A social worker says this is unsafe. A social worker illegally fills out a petition to start a juvenile dependency case, and it's illegal because a social worker is not a lawyer, and they're drafting court papers, and the court's honoring that and taking kids away from parents. And once you get that process going, it's hard to get the kids back because CPS makes $15,000 of federal dollars to take kids away. And then the family court system is a $50 billion a year industry. And then the prison industrial complex, that's free labor. You know, there's when slavery ended, they made 1 million laws so that they can find anything that they could, like if you were jobless or if you were walking around after curfew or something, you could get jailed, go to prison, and guess what? They turned black people around and put them right back in the fields. So they created laws to imprison people of color just to put them right back out there. So our prison system exploded and became a for-profit business after the Southerners were losing slaves. So, and just think about all the people in there for nonviolent crimes and things like that. And just now the prison reform bill, the crime bill, is being talked about, and all the 3 strikes and you're out people who are in there for life for possession of marijuana 3 times, you know, just crazy. I'm not a smoker. I've never been drunk in my life, but that's crazy. Prison should be there to protect society. If you're going to smoke or do whatever you want in your own time, that's your problem. So, where's the outrage? These politicians are idiots. And I wish somebody would get on a platform like Joe Sorge, who created Divorce Court, the best documentary against the family court system, exposing it. You know, that guy created a huge platform. Where is he? Where are all these fathers' rights groups getting on TV or saying everybody's crying about children being separated? We're all crying about that. We're all concerned because it happens to, you know, hundreds of kids a day. It's happening to thousands of parents, and it's not voluntarily. Parents don't voluntarily send their kids to CPS and say, take them. They get them nabbed from them. South Americans are coming to the border knowing that risk and being taught how to try and evade or jump around it and willing to risk their kids. They're crazy for that. But legal citizens without a trial, without a jury of their peers, a lot of times without having an attorney, get their kids yanked away, and then in juvenile dependency cases, they get a public defender who's on the side. They work for the state. Public defenders work for the state. The judge works for the state. CPS works for the state. The prosecutor works for the state. You have all these people leveraged against you. One time, Michael Jackson's lawyer said, the only thing to protect our country from tyranny are defense attorneys. And he has a great point, because everybody's part of the state government. So where are all these politicians? Where's their outrage about U.S. citizens getting their kids taken away? It's all bullcrap. It's all political. They're desperate for votes and things like that. They need to raise a stink about our own people losing their kids for profit.